Welcome to everything. Fuck. Welcome to Enter the Nerdom. I'm here with
Stan Morncini,
Watson Bradshaw,
and I'm Chad Cook, and we're going to be covering everything nerd. It's the beginning of the new year, guys.
That's right.
And we've had some ups and downs for a lot of stuff, a lot of nerd stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Why don't we talk about the best and worst of 2020?
Let's get into it. Let's get into it.
Chad, what do you think was some of the best stuff that you saw in 2022 as far as nerdom goes? Anything?
Well, the best, I would have to say Andor for one. I know you're a big...
It's a fucking great show. I can talk. I do a whole podcast just on Andor.
Yeah, we might. We could go in. We could pick an episode and go into it and stuff. And then I wouldn't say, is Violent Night a nerdom?
I would say it is.
Action
so.
movie.
Because it does a lot of
fantasy
references.
elements. So
Yeah,
does Die Hard references. So.
That's true. That's true. Yeah. So Violent Night, Andor. That's what's coming to the top of my head. Avatar 2 was okay.
You don't know anything. Clearly.
I'm blanking. I
Well,
must
we're
be blanking.
forgetting about the year or Morbius.
Oh,
We haven't gotten the worst yet.
That's the peak of the mountain, baby.
What are some of the worst things you saw?
Some of the worst. Oh well, this is gonna be a long list. She-Hulk,
Yes.
Willow.
Yes.
What was Morbius. Oh my god,
That was actually great. I don't know what you guys are talking about.
Hey, the only saving grace of that movie was Matt Smith. I'll say that.
His little dance.
His little dance, yes. I was like, let's have more of this.
How do you show a real evil villain? You give him a little dance.
Little dance.
He's very. You're so evil that you're compelled to dance. I think that's the way to go about it.
I think that's great. Yeah, I think that's great.
Worked in Spider-Man 3.
Oh yeah, yeah. All right,
Watson, what about you? Best and
what
worst of
about you
2022 that you saw? in your
Oh,
opinion?
boy. I didn't watch Willow.
That's good for you.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Smart.
I'm on the other... I might be picking some fights, but I did like She-Hulk a lot.
I mean,
That's
to
fine,
each his
that's
own.
fine,
To each his
that's fine,
own.
yeah, that's fine.
We're
It's
an
fine.
equal opportunity podcast.
Tell us like a brief synopsis why you liked it. What do you think about it?
I like a show that it knows what it is. It wasn't taking itself too seriously. It was showing another side of the Marvel tapestry, if you will. Like it wasn't.
Okay.
I feel like Marvel movies and shows very much are cut from the same cloth in the way that they have a structure that Marvel knows how to sell really well. And this one, kind of like Andor, kind of swung for the fences a bit. Like they're like, okay, this is going to be like the She-Hulk comic. She's going to be self-referential. She's going to be turning to the camera. She's going to, they did a lot of things. And it was, they put they say right in the first episode, like, this is a legal comedy show. Like, it's like, no, it's not going to be a big sky beam at the end fighting a bad guy.
Right.
And they stuck with it. I mean, the CGI was questionable at times.
That's pretty bad.
And that's
pretty bad.
Marvel's been accused of that for, I think, a lot this year of like how they have just been making sweatshops out of VFX companies.
Yeah.
So, I kind of think going forward, they're going to take their time a little more, hopefully, but I dug it. I dug the show.
I mean, that's fair. That's fair. Yeah.
Yeah.
What are some of the other good things you liked?
The Batman came out.
Oh, I can't believe I
yes.
forgot.
How could you forget, Chad?
I know. I saw it 4 times in the
forget.
theater.
It's crazy
Yeah.
to think that it came out like in March.
I know. It's crazy.
It's
And then it was very. And then I like Doctor Strange and the Mouth of Madness. I thought the Multiverse of Madness.
I'm iffy on that one as well.
Yeah, me too. I'm iffy on it as well.
What made you iffy?
Well,
It made almost $1 billion.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's great, but I felt that it was pretty much a TV movie special of like to cap off WandaVision, and that's cool.
Exactly.
But call it a WandaVision movie. Don't call
Right,
it
exactly.
Yeah.
It wasn't a Doctor Strange movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was wondering because you had to kind of watch WandaVision to know what was
Exactly.
going on.
Yeah.
And I wonder if that was going to hurt the movie.
Right.
I really like Wakanda Forever was great, but really like depressing.
I can't
Chad,
comment on it. I have not seen it yet, but
No.
What?
I know.
You're a nerd podcast. What the fuck?
Well, this past year, Marvel's kind of been disappointing me here and there.
Yeah,
So, I saw
understand.
Love and Thunder, and that was just
That shit was
travesty.
that shit was terrible.
That was
Some of
that
your
was
worst?
rough.
Some
that
of the
was
worst?
I think Love and Thunder would probably hit the list just because
Yeah.
I think anticipation was so high for it
Yeah.
because it was like Ragnarok was so good.
Well,
Well, yeah.
I'm on the opposite end of that. I thought it was very good, Ragnarok, but it was more funny than when it starts turning on to a full comedy, I lose interest. It's like I come here for an actual story where it's not just joke after joke after joke.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
I get that. If I'm there for that, I am for that. Like for Naked Gun movies and things like that. But when you have other movies that are not following that type of theme, you kind of like, all right, well, do I not take this seriously?
Yeah,
right.
And the characters.
I would say Ragnarok had a good balance.
Yeah.
You know, versus Love and Thunder, which was just like joke after like. And this might be a spoiler, but like, when you see someone, you know, getting chemotherapy, you shouldn't be laughing.
True.
Right.
You know?
Right.
But there was people in the theater I was in like laughing away, like, "Oh, this is hilarious! Cancer's hilarious." And you're like, I don't know if this part should be funny.
Yeah. Exactly.
And you introduced like a really good Marvel villain. Gord the God Butcher was great.
Right.
Christian Bale killed it.
Yeah. Like
But
he does with everything.
He was like, you know, he was holding up that movie on his shoulders a lot.
Him and I did enjoy Russell Crowe as Zeus, although he was a little too comedic.
It was I
thought it was playful though.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. My best and worst, definitely. I got to start off with Andor.
Of course,
it's definitely. It's not only probably the best Star Wars show out there. No, I'd say next to the Mandalorian, because the Mandalorian has more of that spirit of Star Wars, which is like adventure and good guys versus bad guys and all this shit. So, but Andor definitely is, I think, not only one of the best Marvel Star Wars shows out there, but definitely probably one of the best TV shows like ever made.
I'd agree. I mean, like, it's really sound. The structure was great. Every episode is great. I mean, it was definitely a show where I was like, I could not wait for the next episode.
Exactly.
There was no filler.
Right.
Like even like it's a slow show. It's
very
a
slow burn.
going show.
Very slow
but
burn.
every episode had enough meat on the bones where I'm just like, I want more of this.
Yeah. Yeah, no, and I think it's the and I've said this on our group chat that we have with our comic book group, is that it's finally the Star Wars show that we've all been waiting for, like a mature adult Star Wars show that a lot of us have been waiting for. Like in the past, it's been a lot of like kind of like goofy shit, kids walking under somebody's trench coat to get it. I mean, come on,
came out this year. Yeah, that's the crazy thing,
right? You know,
2022 is the year of Obi-Wan, and
and no one gave a shit
about it.
No one gave a shit because it was just not a well written show. You know, I mean, Ewan McGregor did his best, I think, and he's good in everything he's in. Yeah. But he, like you said, he kind of
felt like they took a movie script and were like, well, we need to add
a
3
bunch
more
of shit.
episodes.
Exactly.
You know, we'll cut it up, and because it was like you didn't. I could see it being a movie.
Right.
I could see like, okay, the halfway point of the movie is him and Darth Vader fighting, and then him getting his ass handed to him, and then the end of the movie is the end of the show.
I mean, and the Vader fight at the end was probably the only good thing about that entire show. You know, I mean that I can't, that and maybe the Reva fight with Vader. I mean, we got to see Vader kind of unleash, which is good. But that's about the only thing I can say about that show.
Yeah.
The rest of it is just not. Ewan McGregor's performance is great because he's a professional actor, but everything else was just I'll probably never watch that show ever again. Whereas I'll go back to Andor, I'll go back to Mandalorian, but I mean I can't say anything else about any other Marvel or Star Wars show or Marvel show really that has come out this year that's really captivated me. Aside from Andor,
Well, I think they went about it all wrong where. The show's called Obi-Wan, but it didn't really focus on him. It focused on Reva was the character, and then Leia, which is cool. But,
I will say,
but the delivery was poorly done.
Yeah,
how they did that.
I didn't see the Leia thing coming. Like before, I remember watching the first episode and the reveal of Leia, and I was like, "You sons of bitches, you did it, you got me." Because I thought this was going to be a young Luke story more of like him protecting young Luke. But then when it became about Leia, and I was like, "Oh, this is how you get Ben Kenobi off Tatooine."
Yes.
And also we had Book of Boba.
Was that this year?
That was this
see,
year
I can't
too.
even. You see what I mean? It's completely forgettable.
Because I remember watching that, going, okay, that's
I could have sworn it was last
a
year.
lot of Desert Planet. There's a lot of Tatooine in there, and then going straight into Obi-Wan, I was like, we got more Desert Planet, really?
Wow. I could have sworn that was 2021.
No.
Wow. Holy shit.
Yeah, it's crazy. But
and that entire show was, I don't know what the hell that was. Let me look for my armor in the Sarlacc pit, and let me just throw my entire ship in there with some headlights to look for my. What the fuck are you doing? What is this? What is happening? I don't know. And then the biker gang, those kids like straight out of Central Casting, they all look like models.
Yeah.
And the what are they? The cybernetic implants they had.
Right.
They look like the cheapest shit in the entire. It's like literally they just took.
Well, and it's
they put
funny
something
when
and
you
just
go-
stuck it on their eye. And there you go. And it was terrible.
I kind
The
of
Borg in the Next
Yes.
Generation look better than that. Come on.
I kind of get like, okay, so there's Robert Rodriguez filmed most of that.
Right.
Yeah.
And I get like his style.
Yeah.
And I get like they were trying to, maybe they were going for like this kind of like, we're going to keep it like cheesy 70s kind of sci-fi show, right? Like that's why you have little Vespa scooter.
Yeah, that's just,
Speeders and stuff.
Yeah. The slowest moving chase in the entire world.
Well, no,
pretty ridiculous.
Last Jedi had the slowest moving chase.
No, that's true. That's true. That's true. God, that's a whole different. Yeah.
But like, I get if you're going to go camp with it, but then go camp with it.
Go all the way. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And Boba Fett is not a, I mean, I don't want to say he's not a camp character because like he, you know, he's
They started off
more-
not trying to be campy.
Well,
though.
right.
They started off trying to be serious and dark.
The thing where they weren't campy was like he was trying to bring the actor was trying to bring some of his culture into the character, which
Right.
is
Which is fine.
cool,
I
which is
like
fine.
that. I like
The
that.
Sand
Yeah.
People stuff was good.
Yeah, the
But
Sand People
when-
stuff was
I'll say
great.
that.
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah, but when you immediately go to like silly stuff or just like something that juxtaposes like that whole part of his story, it's kind of like it's not really that interesting.
Right.
Like if I want to see Boba Fett, I would say I want to see him as traveling planet to planet, going after bounties, or maybe he's just straight up, murking people for vengeance or something like that.
Right.
I don't know what, but like he is a character that doesn't need a purpose, like a clear purpose to leave the planet. He could do whatever he
Correct,
wants.
yeah,
And the
correct.
fact that they keep him there, and I know the way they keep him there is for the Sand People, but I was like, you don't have to though. You followed the Mandalorian to another planet to get your armor.
Right, and I also didn't get how he was trying to be like a compassionate,
boss.
crime boss, which is like okay, I understand. Like he went through some pretty serious shit. He's kind of like a different person now, coming out of his experiences with the Sand People and what happened there. So I guess he's trying. I wish they had done more like a Walter White character. Like I'm trying to do good things,
But bad
but I
things
keep
keep
having to
happening.
do bad shit
Yeah,
to get.
great.
That would
That's
be-
what I wanted to see. Like
very
that's where I
fun.
thought they were going, and it turns out that's not exactly. It seemed like they had the seed of it, and they kind of just forgot about it.
Yeah.
And it's just like, so I wish he had gone like, okay, I'm trying to turn things around, but now there's this group of people who's causing shit, so I'm just gonna go kill him, and then that'll be the last thing.
Yeah.
Oh, now there's this guy bounty hunter that's coming in here causing shit, so I'm just gonna kill him, and that'll be the end of it. Oh, now there's, so that's what I was hoping he would be kind of, try to be a compassionate kind of crime boss, but also.
Do you think it hurt the show using a character like Boba Fett because everyone has their Boba lore in their heads or how badass
yes,
he
that's
is?
true. That's true.
And he's been, for screen time, he's only been on the movies for 15 minutes or whatever.
Right,
it is.
right.
And everyone knows, like, has created, because there's so many comic books and other things out there about this character. And so I think everyone expected something different from the show.
I agree.
Since we have the cartoons as well,
Mm-hmm.
they've explored some of older
Yes.
Boba there. So I think even the younger audience is looking for that Boba, and they didn't
Right.
get that in this new one. So it's just like
Well, I think that's why like a show like The Mandalorian does so well because there's no connection with that character, and it's like, oh, he's just gonna go collect bounties. That's awesome. I mean, that should have been the Boba Fett show.
Right.
and it's very
Right.
It pulls from actual stories that have been told in like real movies. Oops, I hit the table. Where like Lone Wolf and the Cub is very Mandalorian.
Yes,
And
very
I
much
think
so.
those things work, and also that falls into George Lucas's like samurai
His obsession
idea,
with
and
the
Yeah.
Kurosawa
I-
stuff.
Yeah.
if
I mean, they did some of that in Boba Fett, and with what's his name coming out of the desert,
Cad
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 Bane,
Bane, yeah, like
Cad
which
Bane
looked
was
great.
great.
Which
No,
looked great. Yeah,
I-
that looked good, but
he's one of my favorite
But
characters
yet
from
again,
the
it
cartoon.
felt like a real last minute addition.
yeah, it
I
did
will
feel like
say
that,
yes.
That
yeah.
Cad Bane could have been a running through line through the whole show.
Yes,
you know.
that would have been awesome.
He could have been a seasonal villain with
Yeah,
just
absolutely. I mean,
countless bumping into
Yeah.
Bobby-Wan.
Right.
I mean,
Bobby-Wan
Bobby-Wan
is
Bobby-Wan. That's what the show was.
that's the
Bobby-Wan.
crossover we're waiting for.
Some of my worst were definitely She-Hulk.
Oh.
How dare you.
I couldn't. I'm sorry, I couldn't get into the show. I really tried, and I was just like,
Yeah.
this is not. It's just they changed a lot of stuff from the comic book itself to kind of suit her story, which I don't think was necessary. I would have liked to have seen. So like one of the main things they changed was that Bruce gave her a blood transfusion in the comic
Yes.
book,
Yeah.
and she changed. I mean that I don't know why they changed that up. I guess just because they wanted to empower her more, which okay, but like what I would have wanted to see was why wasn't there a harder choice? Like put that in the storyline. Like yes, there is an accident. They get sent to the hospital. She's in some bad shape.
Right.
The doctors say, well, you guys have the same blood type. Why can you give her blood? He's like, well, if I do that, she'll turn into a Hulk. And that would have been great to see him have to deal with turning his cousin into something that he's fought pretty much a big part of his life against.
Yeah.
Right. And then dealing with the situations, dealing with the consequences from there, and then have Jennifer kind of try to, adapt her life around this new power that she has. But instead it's just like, oh, it's an inconvenience, whatever. Oh, well, and I'm still badass despite it. And even better, it's like this continuation of characters and movies that we're seeing in TV shows today. I think nowadays that they can just kind of barrel through any obstacle, and there's like very few times have we seen characters from the last I want to say like 5-6 years have consequences for their actions, serious consequences for their actions, and have them really deal with obstacles and be better people at the end of it. Jennifer is pretty much the same person at the end of the show as she was in the beginning, except she has Hulk powers now. It's basically
and confidence.
Yeah,
but she had that before though. We see that in like the first 30
That's
seconds
true.
of the show.
She did prove she's very confident.
Yeah.
But I to go off what you were saying, I think it could have been his decision and then also her decision as well, which would make it just like, yeah, I know what this might do to me.
Right.
I will say yes to,
But the problem, this is where Marvel kind of got themselves in a corner, was because we've seen this version of Bruce Banner. Like if you look at the first, like the Edward Norton movie,
yeah,
how like one drop of blood, when he's in the factory scene, he gets cut, and one drop of blood goes in, and he is chasing after that drop of blood because he knows his blood is poison, and he says that it's like this will kill anyone. That she's lucky that she has his genetics. That's the only reason she survived.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I don't think. And the problem with the show was, for me, you've already got him as Smart Hulk.
Yeah.
So showing up as Smart She-Hulk, it's like, all right, we already got a Smart Hulk.
That's true.
There's no real difference between the two compared to like in the comics when she was changed, he was the Savage Hulk. He couldn't form a sentence. She could.
Yeah.
And she had that going for her. I think in the show, there's not much going for her because it's like, well, we already got a green guy that's can talk and
and of course she's better at him than everything right from the get-go. She's stronger than him. She's able to control her anger better. It's just again, it's just characters barreling through obstacles and not having any kind of adversity in their way. It's just kind of more
he's got a lot more. He's coming from a place of he's from basically child abuse,
right?
And that's where his Hulk persona comes from, right? So he has to deal with all that. She just has, internal rage, being, female rage, basically.
Right.
That's her baggage, and it's that's why he has that whole book that is just dealing with other persona, and he's like, oh wait, we don't have to do this part.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I took 10 years to merge these two personalities to make Smart Hulk, and she's like, I'm fine. I didn't get abused by my dad. Sorry.
No. Also, like, I don't know if it actually happened in the comics or not. Was she ever hunted by Ross as well?
I don't think so.
No.
I don't remember anything about that.
No.
Because
funny because you think she would be. But because I think she was so out front about it from the get go. Like she was pretty much like, yeah, I'm Hulk. I'm gonna be a lawyer.
Yeah.
I think it's a little different than like
you're not. She's in control of herself.
The fugitive aspect. You know?
But like with, I looking at that show, I was hoping there would be more courtroom stuff than there was.
Well, and the courtroom stuff was clownish. It was clownish.
It was. And I didn't expect it to be like
like
the firm or
I know what you
like
mean. Yeah, something,
but just something substantial where it's like, oh, she's taking this job seriously.
Right. Well, I didn't get so she got Female Lawyer of the Year, an award, I think.
Well,
right.
She had a shirt with a bunch of
something
other
like that.
lawyers, yeah.
But and then but what was crazy is that then she goes to court with a client of hers whose boots malfunction on his costume on his superhero. But then it turns out he used the wrong fuel, and they find that out in the
because
court.
he's trying to sue the
manufacturer,
designer,
designer. And so, but then it's like, oh, you didn't use the right fuel. Well, what? Come on, any lawyer. This is why the courtroom scenes were clownish, because any lawyer would have been the first question. Let's look at the manual
right?
that you got.
Follow the instructions?
Yeah, that they mentioned in the show.
Yeah.
The manual, and does it say? Did you do all these things? Did you use right fuel? Oh no. Well, then we don't have a case, and why you waste my time?
Yeah.
But she doesn't do her due diligence, because the writers admitted they don't really know legal proceedings, which is okay. I guess that's okay, but you're doing a legal show, but okay. And she walks into this courtroom. I mean, first of all, any lawyer that worth their salt that's the first thing they would have. We don't have a case. Sorry.
Yeah.
But if they somehow manage to go into trial like that, the judge would be like, "Come here, are you a lawyer? Did you go to law school? Do you know what you're doing? Like, why are you wasting my court's time doing this shit? Like, come on, So it's just like that was the point of the show. I was like, I can't. It's hard for me to take this seriously. Well, and I know they weren't trying to take themselves so seriously, but at the same time, they kind of were. So it's like I don't know where you're going with this. You try to do a comedy or a legal drama, and it just seems like
I can't be so mad because they got Matt Murdock in there.
They got Matt Murdock in there.
He got the win, so I was happy.
Yeah, that was cool. He had he had his costume. He did the walk of shame, which is kind of strange, but okay.
I mean, yeah. The liberty that they took most with was Abomination, and I had such hopes for him to come back as the Abomination I know and love, but and when they changed him like that, I was just like, I'm not into this if you're going to be changing characters that are substantial to the Hulk lore.
Right.
Like, I wanted to see Abomination team up with the leader that he's going to be
that
coming.
Could still happen.
I mean, it could, but like the fact that
you didn't like his smarmy was it motivational speaker stint?
Yeah, the fact is, like, he's the Abomination. I shouldn't see. I don't know what the hell that was. Offense, Tim Roth. I love Tim Roth. Yeah. But I shouldn't see his face on the Abomination's face. I should see an Abomination.
Right.
And the fact that they're trying to imprint people's faces on the actual creatures now is just like, it's like the son of the Hulk. I was like,
I don't know what the fuck that was.
It looked so bad.
I don't know what that was.
And I was like, just make him a Hulk face. Give him a Hulk face. So I don't know. The fact that
I like that. Just go to the VFX. Give him a Hulk face.
Yeah, give him a Hulk face.
Yeah.
And
what was up with his hair?
Not hard.
I worked on this for 7 days straight. Okay.
Do you know what a Cro-Magnon looks like? Put that face on his face.
Did anybody see Willow?
Getting college credit for this.
I didn't finish it because
it was terrible. I couldn't get past the first episode. Willow.
Oh, I didn't even start it.
I don't.
Oh.
I couldn't get past. I love Willow. It's the movie.
Yeah, the movie's great.
I hear a lot of people on YouTube and a lot of podcasts I listen to. People are like, "Oh, I was never a big fan of Willow." Yeah, it was a forgettable '80s movie. Yeah, but it was still really fun.
Yeah,
because it came out at the perfect time. I think it was like 8 or 9. So to an 8 or 9-year-old, that movie's amazing. So when this show came out, I was like, okay, well, we'll see. Warwick Davis is back. Well, Warwick Davis. I'd really like to see him again. And I couldn't get past the first episode, man. It was just terrible.
I watched
it was just terrible.
A little bit more in, and no offense to Warwick Davis, I don't think he was as into it because of how it was written, because his acting wasn't as...
Because it's not a Willow show.
Well, that's the thing.
Which is weird.
You know what shocks me, though? The fact that...
Obi-Wan's not an Obi-Wan show.
He's there, but he's like pushed to the side. But the fact that, if Disney is doing a lot of representation, I would think you'd want an all-dwarf cast. Why not? Like, what's wrong with that?
Right.
Where you only have, like
the movie had.
Two dwarves following these normal-sized young teens. And I'm like, but we're still not getting that dwarf representation. And the fact that this movie could have... Because Warwick Davis is pretty much running this whole village of smaller people.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that'd be interesting just to follow them through their lives and them trying to defend their, or save the world or whatever like that. But the fact is that they pulled 2 of them out of the village, Warwick and another guy, and they're just trying to help these other people. It's just, I don't know. I felt they missed an opportunity with that. And
and it feels like a CW show. It feels like a CW, like it's this
or MTV
something,
fantasy.
because it focuses on young teen romances.
Yeah, and I get it. You're marketing for today.
Is this now? I haven't watched it, but is there a lot of setup for this could be for season 2 kind of thing? Like, do you feel like it go that way?
I would say
I couldn't make
a little bit here and there, but it's. I don't know if it did that well to get that, because I haven't heard anything about a season 2 of Willow.
I have no clue. I like I said, I couldn't make.
I still need to finish it.
So
I mean, but I've heard the episodes later get not even better. So.
You know, it's funny because I haven't heard a lot about it. There's not been a lot of buzz. I know it's been out for a month now,
something like that.
Well, that's why a lot of people were saying, you know, Willow. Some people who haven't seen it or have seen it and forget about it. I guess it's not as popular a show. It's really for the older audience. I don't know why they would try to connect this to a younger, but it's Disney.
Exactly. I don't understand either. A lot of the storyline itself just doesn't make any sense. In the first episode, they're attacked at this castle. I forgot the character's name already.
I'm blanking.
The queen who was in the original movie.
The evil queen, or
the Shorsha.
Yeah,
Shorsha, her and Mad Mardigan eventually got married and had 2 kids.
Oh, okay.
And the prince and the princess, and then Laura Dana from the original movie is being kept hidden, even though she's supposed to be a key to defeating some evil.
Yeah.
So instead of training her and preparing her for this, they hide her. Okay. Anyway, so there you go. So, but then,
flashes of The Witcher.
Kind of.
Yeah.
I mean, so then they're attacked by these magical creatures, these evil like beings, which they actually look really cool. But they attack the castle, and then the prince is kidnapped. So in response, the queen sends not her army, which she clearly has at the castle. She has warriors and she has soldiers. But instead of sending an army after the prince, she sends 5 people. 2, one is her daughter, the princess, which you would think is fairly important, but I guess not. A warrior in training who is like she's like 110 pounds, who is not a full-fledged warrior yet. So they sent her. They send 2 seasoned kind of men who are warriors as well. One who dies almost immediately, and then the princess is betrothed fiance, who's like another. He's Flash Thompson from Spider-Man.
From the new Spider-Man.
Who's probably 100 pounds himself, and he's not a warrior. He's also a rich kid,
a noble,
a prince. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they sent 5 people, only 3 maybe who were actual warriors.
Yeah.
And then 2 others who were kind of like just sitting there.
It's a D&D party.
Exactly. It's exactly. Yeah.
Party, yeah.
So which made absolutely no. And then one of the seasoned warriors gets killed almost immediately. The rest of the party jumps off a cliff that's not that high, and then the water's like waist deep because it doesn't look like they're horses. And then the party that's following them, these raiders who are following them, who attack them, instead of jumping off and following them, they just kind of like go away. They just kind of fuck off. It didn't make any sense, dude. I was like, what's going on here?
A proper way how that could have went down is that small group of people, they already know each other, or they've crossed paths, and they're doing their own thing, and then the army that's sent out cross paths with them from the queen.
Right.
And they're like, you should be safe. You come with us, and like they'll get engrossed in whatever the terrible.
Or they just set off on their own without the queen's permission.
Yeah. That's fantasy.
Something.
101. Fantasy 101.
Yeah.
Right.
The entire premise. I mean, again, I didn't make it past the first episode, and then Warwick Davis finally shows up like 45 minutes in, and he immediately recognizes Lord Dana, who was in a relationship with the prince, and sets off to find him on her own. Again, this is like a key character. This is it's basically a weapon to defeat the greatest evil, but they kind of have her. Nobody's watching her. So she just wanders off on her own, and then Warwick Davis recognizes her and says, you're the key to, you're the empress to save the world or whatever." And like, well, maybe she should be kept a little, someone keep an eye on her because she's pretty important. But no, she fucks off again apparently in a different episode. So I don't.
We'll see
on her own. Yeah.
We'll see Warwick Davis again in Book of Wicket.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well,
coming to Disney Plus.
The funny thing now, though, with
Fall
this podcast,
2023.
you might have to finish watching Willow to be able to give your consensus.
I'll do it for the podcast, but I will try to purge my brain. Yeah. Oh God, I can't. Just hear me vomiting the entire podcast. What the fuck is?
Clockwork Orange style. We'll just pin your eyes open.
Yeah. Did anybody see Avatar 2?
Yes.
Yeah. What do you guys think?
Loved it.
I thought I give it a 7 out of 10.
It was pretty good. It was pretty good. I definitely 7. Yeah, I give it a 7. B plus. Yeah. It was a little longer than it should have been by
Yes.
about maybe 30 minutes or so.
I felt the jumping back. You've seen it, you said, right?
Yeah.
The jumping back and forth between Quaritch and Sully's family
Yeah.
was too spread out. It was
Right.
like, oh, I forgot we were following them for a bit. The Quaritch
Right.
and
They
the
should've-
human. Or they should have clashed sooner because there was a moment with it was a montage of them learning how to ride water animals. It's
Right.
like, I
and
get
fish and
It's
swim.
cool.
Yeah.
Well, that was the funny thing about the movie. It was a montage of okay, so it was basically the first movie
Yeah.
twice over.
Yeah, pretty much.
Because
Yeah.
it's like, okay, so now the Sullys have to learn a whole new way. That's
Whole new
cool.
way, right,
But
which
also Quaritch
also
has to
didn't-
learn
Yeah.
everything Sully learned in the first movie.
Right.
Yeah.
Because he's learning how to take on the Banshees and stuff like that. I'm like, okay, so we're watching the first movie twice during the course of the second movie.
Yeah. So, I also didn't understand how Quaritch's guys, who were also former Marines, there was like a squad of their Na'vi bodies now.
Yeah, yeah.
And they all got popped off like pretty quickly. Like, I think they killed like 2 or 3 of them like in the first encounter. It's like, well, I thought they were gonna be a much more of a bigger threat than
Right,
they were.
yeah.
You know. So what I thought was gonna happen, and so my background, I was in the Army for a long time. So I was in the Army for 15 years, fought in Iraq and Afghanistan. So like a lot of the military decisions they made in that movie didn't make any sense. So they're trying to kill or capture Jake Sully, right?
Yeah.
Because somehow that will end the rebellion, which
No,
obviously it's not.
It's
right?
more of a revenge thing. I think it's more for. I
For
think they-
for Quaritch it was a
for
revenge
Quaritch, it's
thing,
for revenge.
but for the company or whoever, the humans,
Yeah.
that was their mission.
Yes.
It wasn't revenge based. It was kill the
But
leader of the
after-
insurrection.
But after he
Or the resistance.
goes off, he's like, look, I'm done with fighting, and he goes off to be a water person. Like,
Well,
you
yeah,
think,
but-
like, okay, the threat is neutralized at that point.
Well, no, it's not. But see, that's what didn't make sense about the movie, because it's like it's obviously not, because the Na'vi are going to fight with or without Jake Sully.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's
obviously
true.
they're gonna.
They wouldn't be as organized without
Hang
Sully.
on,
though.
guys, something happened. Oh, never mind. Okay.
We just got picked up by
No, I just-
Amazon
Yeah,
for 3 years
yeah.
for $70 million.
Yeah, that's yeah.
That
we
Rings
get
of
our own
Power
show. We
is
get
the
our own show.
greatest show on the planet.
We get our own show. No,
Watch Amazon.
the screen just
Yeah.
went blank. Yeah. So the Na'vi are going to resist regardless of Jake
Yes,
Sully. You know,
but
they're
I
going to
think-
fight. You know,
Yeah.
but so
But he was the figurehead.
he was a figurehead, but then he leaves. But then they continue to pursue him. It's like, why not just go? They know where the Na'vi are. Just go there and fuck them up anyway, and then
Right.
deal with Jake Sully
Well,
later
that's why
on.
I'm
Now he
saying-
doesn't have an army.
That's why I'm saying why it's
You
a
know?
revenge story more than a military story. It's not like they're going in
Right.
to fight the insurgents, which they're not.
Yeah, but for Quaritch, it was a revenge story, not for
Yes.
the corporation or the humans or
Right.
whatever.
But
They're
we didn't
they're not
see-
worried about revenge. They're worried about neutralize the Na'vi so we can colonize this planet.
Yeah.
So-
and then, but we don't really get to see that side of the story. I
Right,
think
and that's a problem. Yeah.
Well, I think that's what they're, because they're playing the long game. They're like, look, we're doing 5 movies of this.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
think they already announced the next one. We're going to visit the fire people or something like that. Like, it's going to be another trial.
So it's going to be
another
Avatar: The Last Airbender, but
Yeah, he's got to learn all of the skills, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's, literally, they
Jake
stole
Sully's
the
just
name.
gonna have a shaved head.
Yeah, he stole the name Avatar already.
That's
I
true.
might as well go full
That's true.
tilt.
That's true.
So, but yeah, so I think they're that's the thing, is like, I think we're gonna see more of that coming up, with the grand scheme of everything.
Yeah.
I like the idea of bringing Quaritch back. I like that he's gonna be a main. They've even said like he's gonna be the main villain for like 5 movies.
Really? Oh,
Yeah,
shit.
they're like they're
thought-
invested in him.
It seems like he's gonna join the Na'vi, though. It seems,
Right.
Because he has a son
a
now.
son,
and,
yeah.
Well, and that's the thing, is I don't know if he's gonna be a redeemable character.
yeah.
true.
It seems like I'm sure at like the very end he's gonna redeem himself and die.
Or he'll
do
probably
something.
die saving his
saving
son.
somebody or saving Jake. You
I
know?
mean, possibly.
You know.
Well, there's a couple of things that popped off in my brain watching it. Was like, so they can clone bodies, right? We've seen this.
Right.
They make the Na'vi. I'm like, why can't they can't just clone humans?
That's true.
Like,
That's a good. Wow, that's
they
a good. Yeah, I didn't
basically,
think about that.
you don't
Yeah.
need to go up to
Spot
space
on.
whale juice
Yeah.
if like we can basically be immortal with
Oh,
just
shit,
cloning
Watson,
a,
you're right,
bottle,
dude.
bo- a
Yeah.
body and downloading a brain.
Because they're
right?
saying we're doing this. This is paying for everything. It's because it stops aging completely. Yeah, why not just clone bodies?
Just
You're right.
clone-
They're cloning
and
Na'vi.
and
They're
I'm
cloning
sure-
alien bodies, and I'm sure
I'm
much
sure
more
cloning
complicated
a
than
human
ours.
would be
That
a
we know
lot
less about than
simpler.
our bodies.
Right. or is the plan to clone
shit,
every
yeah.
human put every human in a Na'vi body because they're trying to terraform
Oh
the
shit!
planet.
There you go.
right?
See,
Wow, that's
fuck Watson. You see, you just completely destroyed the entire logic of Avatar.
Sorry,
dude.
James Cameron.
Yeah, sorry, James
I
Cameron.
know
You're
you've been
right.
thinking
dude,
about
yeah.
this for 20 years.
Why don't they
but
just-
I
yeah,
just
yeah.
popped a hole in your...
Oh shit, dude! I didn't even
Shit
think
right
about that.
there.
Yeah, yeah, they are trying to colonize.
Right, that was the whole thing.
I mean, I
It's
could
like-
kind of see like, well, humans don't want to go into in a Na'vi body; they want to be in their own body.
Right,
I could
sexy
kind of see
cat
that, I guess,
person.
but like, yeah, why don't they just clone
Well,
humans?
But
Yeah.
I don't think Quaritch had much of a problem. He was in shock at first,
Right.
but then he
Right.
embraced it, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm stronger. I'm younger. I'm
Right,
And he was like, and it wasn't even like it wasn't like he needed his actual body to do it. They downloaded his brain.
Yeah.
Right.
into a
He didn't
hard
even
drive.
remember what his
You could
previous
just send a
self did.
ship with
Yeah.
a bunch of hard drives and pop. You got everyone in the planet there.
Yeah.
Oh shit, dude, you're right. Yeah. Well, Avatar
And
sucks.
there you
It's
go.
like,
taking it. I'm finally someone speaking out against this.
I mean, I felt that the whale whole scene, the part of the story could have been
Proper name, space whale.
space
Space
whale.
whales
I think the space whales could have been
that they communicate with and have bonds
Well,
with.
no, I thought that was all interesting, but like I think that should have
They're
been its
cool
own
cats.
movie because the leader of
Yeah.
the gang that hunts him down, I was like, I think if you had a better actor,
It was
I mean, no
a
offense
movie.
to
It was called Free Willy.
I think
Worst
though,
of 2022.
I think though, if they had, we were able to focus on that villain more, like because he didn't have much presence. That's why Quaritch like kind of took over his whole operation.
Right.
The boat captain.
The boat captain. I was like, I wanted.
I want him to come back in the next movie
With one arm?
with a full Na'vi arm. Just
that'd be-
one Na'vi arm.
That'd be
pretty
just a
dope.
7-foot arm on,
just-
on his little body.
He'd be like Morty in Rick and Morty that
Right,
episode. Where he's got this
exactly.
massive
It's like,
arm,
look, they
yes.
cloned this. It's, look, the best they can do.
and it just gives so it moves on its
Yeah,
own.
I-
like
I-
this dra-
that's what I think.
Or space
this
whale
series
flipper.
needs. I think it needs to go off the wall, like absurd, crazy with it because we're kind of very just linear right now with a lot of storyline, and I just like I want something weird and crazy. Like it's like we're taking all these molecules from Na'vi and we're creating like these monster like
Oh, that'd be
creatures,
awesome,
and instead of
some
seeing-
Resident Evil looking thing. Just
yeah,
kinda,
like
yeah.
maybe a virus. Well, no, a virus gets loose, but not
Uh-oh.
we're not saying that word. But it creates like zombie like things, or I don't know. I know it gets away
like
from.
that.
It gets away from his message of save the planet and don't destroy-
Avatar 3 Resident Evil.
Yeah, I mean that. Yeah, I would be down.
The
'Cause
Umbrella Academy. The Umbrella Corporation. The entire
see the logo on one of the buildings.
Oh shit.
That'd be crazy. But no, I really think though, it's either the revenge story or we're saving the whales.
he gets with Ridley Scott and you make a Aliens meets Avatar movie.
Hey, there you go.
Holy
Some
shit, that'd be
xenomorphs on
awesome.
that planet.
Oh my god, the xenomorphs just popping out of the Na'vi body.
Well,
Right?
because the way
shit.
Ridley Scott said they were created by those engineers, they could have sent down like a rocket with the oil,
the black
oil,
oil, yeah.
the black
from
goo.
X Files.
Yeah.
Just
That's right.
taking over their. I don't know. Like we haven't gotten that a sci-fi movie where it's like it's all these things. It's not just it's a few things, but it's normal. We've seen this
Right.
before. I really want to see like almost like Rick and Morty, but serious.
Speaking of that, like jumping to what are you looking forward to in 2023?
Oh, well,
I think we've shit on 2022 enough already.
We have,
Yeah.
yes.
I mean, there was a lot of good things. Top Gun was good.
yeah,
Top
you
Gun,
know,
it's
Top
great.
Gun was great.
But we said it earlier. Violent Night, I think, was one of the best movies of 2022.
Violent
I
Night
am-
is a sleeper hit. It's
Such
so
a good
good.
movie.
Speaking
Holy
of
shit.
Top Gun to Tom Cruise, I am excited for the next Mission Impossible because
Yes,
the last
those
one
are
was
good.
great.
Dead Reckoning,
Fallout.
good.
right? Or it's Dead Reckoning Part 1.
Part 1, yeah.
One, yes.
It's like
I think they finished wrapping Part 1 and they're going to be doing 2 soon or starting soon. But
Cruise won't be happy until he set himself on fire on film.
Yes.
Did
Just
you-
like,
did you watch
watch
that
me
video?
die.
The one that he jumps off the.
Yes.
off the
ravine.
on
Okay,
his
first
bike.
of all, it's not that complicated of a stunt. Come on now.
I mean,
This is the most dangerous thing. Where he's riding a motorcycle and then just hitting the parachute. I mean, it's dangerous.
I
but
mean,
it's-
the
I
parachute.
mean, we
cannot-
do it every day.
yeah. I mean,
yeah.
anybody can do that.
But not everyone can. At a certain speed, not everyone can take that jump. 'cause
I would.
it's-
Yeah, I would totally like.
No, I would go.
Peter
Oh,
Griff-
you mean like
Peter
wobble?
Griffin
Yeah,
was
it's a pretty
saying-
wide ramp. It's a pretty wide ramp.
But I would still be frightened, like I'd
inches in.
slide
I mean,
off the
I saw
side.
because I saw it in theaters and they're like, "This is the most dangerous thing we've ever." And I was like, "Oh shit, what are they gonna do? Like, he's gonna like jump from a ramp onto a moving plane and catch
he
them.
literally
That's
was-
what I thought he was gonna do. I was like, holy shit, this is gonna be crazy. And no, he's just riding a motorcycle off a ramp. And
I
then-
guess it's more.
I was like, okay,
it's
I mean,
because
that's-
there's no compared to like hanging on the side of a plane,
Yeah.
he was safetied on,
Right,
Or
right.
climbing a building, he's got
Right.
safety. This is literally
no, it's
there's
just a parachute.
safety,
Yeah,
it's just a
if his parachute fails, he's fucked.
But
Yeah,
also,
for sure.
if he hits
yeah.
the wrong angle,
Right,
if he,
right, right.
Yeah, and it's not just that the weather's got to be perfect
Right,
for
right,
it, and
yeah.
so many things could go wrong.
Yeah.
and the fact that he is a superstar,
Right.
and it's not a stunt double. Yeah,
Exactly.
Yes.
Yes.
a
No,
feat.
it's dangerous for
Yeah.
sure. But I was like,
I mean,
no.
he's gonna be.
Insurance
He's,
agents like,
I thought-
not again.
he's possibly going to be in space in the next one. So
he
it's
most
like,
likely will.
Yeah.
I'm gonna hang on
Yeah.
the outside.
And
They'll
actual
just-
space.
his,
Yeah.
his, that's how we're gonna read that he passed away. His suit just gave like the tube. Goes,
That's it.
And he's just floating.
he's
now-
orbiting
he's
our
over
planet.
Earth.
Yeah.
Yeah, for the
Always,
next 200
forever,
years,
yeah.
or until he enters the
did
atmosphere and burns
it's
up.
funny, last night I rewatched the first
The
Mission
fir-
Impossible.
Yeah.
I was
Oh, yeah.
like, you know what? Let me
Yeah,
let me hit
96,
back.
I think?
96.
97?
He
Yeah.
is
It's crazy.
Yeah.
he's so young. It's crazy.
So
And-
young, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like
back
it's
then
so
it was-
low stakes and low key.
Yeah.
It's just like
Yeah.
I mean the big sequence is
Yeah.
of course like him in the vault.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
and that's just like him hanging on two wires, and you're
Yeah.
like, I
with
remember this
Ving
thing-
Rhames just holding him up.
Right, and you're just
and
like,
then
and it's
you're just
holy
like,
shit.
oh, this was. I remember that was really like, what's gonna happen? Like that
Yeah,
was the
yeah.
big stunt of the movie.
And it was also
Well, that-
also used a lot in pop culture after
Oh,
that.
yeah.
You know, a lot.
yeah.
Very, very much.
So I mean, like
But
to
was
see
it-
where it's gone.
At the end of it, though, on the
There's
train,
the bullet
was
train.
he
Oh,
hanging on to that or no? That was fake.
That was
fake.
all. I mean, when you watch it, it looks really fake because
Yeah,
it's,
yeah.
it's very
Yeah,
much a
nowadays.
soundstage.
So
Right.
I think at some point, like when he did 2 with John Woo, he's like, you know what? I want to climb
well,
this.
he does. Yeah, he does all the free.
Yeah,
free
and
climbing.
and the motorcycles
sequence.
and
Yeah.
Is that where where they're spitting the motorcycles at each other?
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
The most John Woo movie that's ever
yeah.
John Wooed.
Yes.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like let's give him long hair, black leather coat, sunglasses, and doves.
Of course, 90s.
And-
late 90s, early 2000s.
Double
of
guns,
course. Yeah,
everything.
you
doves
got to,
and
yeah.
guns like switching positions
Yes.
around each other.
Of
like
course.
In face
Of
I mean,
course,
it's
yeah.
like every John,
Oh.
like you can do a John Woo supercut,
Oh,
and
man.
that's that
It's also
movie.
every late 90s and early 2000s
Oh,
action
yeah.
movie.
People
Black trench coats,
loved
double
it.
guns.
Oh,
Yeah.
I
Oh.
miss those days.
Yeah, of course. They're great, dude. They're great. I remember that in that Mission Impossible, the first one, with the gum.
Oh yeah,
That was so cool. Like he
Red
sticks the
light
two
ring?
pieces of gum
Yeah,
together.
I'm telling you.
And then
Yeah.
it's like an explosive. And
Yeah.
I remember back then I was like, "Holy shit, that's so fucking high tech.
Yeah,
That's
man.
so cool." And now look at what we got.
Well, and I get like at that time they were trying like these aren't Bond movies, right? Like
Yeah.
they were
Right.
trying not to be Bond.
Right.
They were trying, and it was like, and I forgot Brian De Palma directed that one.
Yeah.
which
Oh,
is
shit,
insane.
that's
yeah.
right.
And he
Oh,
uses
shit.
there's some amazing shots of things, you know, in focus in foreground and background at
Right.
the same time. I'm like, oh, that's some interesting stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
Where it's like it shows in the background, like you'll see someone like poison a glass or something, like just like little things that help the story along that you don't. They don't have to like say it in the into the audience face
Yeah.
or like
Right.
they are doing this, they're planning like literally it's just like stuff your brain picks up on, and it's just it's so quaint now. Like
Right,
you watch that and you're like,
right.
oh, he's running from a little explosion. That's cute.
Yeah, yeah,
And
exactly.
like now it's like
Yeah.
he's got to like helo jump off an airplane and,
right.
you know and
Into
like,
another airplane. Yeah.
right exactly and, like,
That's on fire.
and the same thing with like the Fast and Furious movies. If you go watch that first one, you're like, oh, they're just stealing DVD players.
Yes,
Yeah.
and the most dangerous stunt was that they went underneath a
Right,
moving semi,
exactly.
which
Yeah.
is actually that's a
No, that is
incredibly dangerous
Yeah,
stunt. you
yeah,
know?
absolutely.
But yeah, I do remember. Yeah, the first when I saw the first Fast and Furious, and then compared to what we're seeing now,
Yeah.
where they're in space apparently now. I can't.
Oh,
I
yeah,
stopped
that-
watching a long time ago.
I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
you gotta take Fast and Furious as more of a it's like a cartoon now. It's,
they don't take-
it's,
yeah,
it's
that-
entertainment.
they
It's-
do it on
it's-
purpose.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they do it on
it's
purpose,
over the
yeah.
top on
Is the
it.
next
Yeah.
one coming out next year or
Is it? Oh my
I
god,
don't-
they're making another one. Holy.
Oh,
fuck.
Isn't it the last
10,
one?
10 and 11 they're filming.
Oh,
back to
10
back.
Oh
Wow,
my
jeez.
god, they're making another one. Holy shit, they're making 2 more. Oh
I
god.
think they said that's it. They
Oh, wow.
capped
I mean,
out.
yeah, you gotta tap it off at some point. But
God, yeah, right.
I just
Oh my
want
God.
more. I can't wait for John Wick 4. That's gonna be.
I can,
awesome.
that's I'm looking forward to that for
Yeah.
2023 as well. Yeah,
Yeah.
John Wick 4. It's it's a little over the top now where it's like they have a whole society of assassins.
Well, I think
and
that's
the whole
that's
whatever it is
interesting
kingdom. I don't know what the fuck it is.
Well, no, because if you look at it like because you could tell why it's the world is like that, because I think the directors, or the one director, I think it's Chad. I forget the other guy's name, but he's doing the Highlander supposedly. And what's like that? The assassins are like that. They have their hotel is their like
Sanctuary.
sanctuary.
Right,
They can't
right.
fight on
Yeah,
holy ground. You know?
right.
And I was like, this feels exactly like Highlander to me. And I was like, I'm all down for it. And the fact that they're up in the ante in each one is like I'm pulled into the lore. I like the gold coins. I like the secret.
Donnie Yen's coming in.
Oh, and
baby.
Donnie Yen's gonna be in there.
Oh yeah,
and,
that's right. Yeah.
And I'm gonna butcher his name, but Hiroshi.
Yes.
He played Scorpion in Mortal Kombat.
Yes.
Obviously.
And he's in Bullet Train as well.
Yes, Bullet Train.
Yeah.
Great in that.
Yeah.
I just watched Bullet Train.
Clancy Brown's even gonna be in, probably not as an assassin, but like. Yeah, you could hear his voice when he's pulling out the dueling weapons. If you've seen the trailer,
He's like the
sommelier
the kind of character.
Yeah.
I love that.
I was like, that's great. Clancy Brown's in there.
Clancy Brown's
and
great.
There's a couple other ones. I was like, oh, okay, this is really cool. And I really hope. I'd probably say there's only going to be one more after that. Obviously, I don't.
The John Wick
see.
movie?
Yeah, I don't.
Still
I see,
wicking.
Yeah. Well, they're supposedly doing a show, but I haven't heard any movement on that. Recently,
the hotel show.
The hotel show? Yeah.
Yeah.
They've been talking about that for a while.
No, they have, yeah. And
I don't think it translates well to TV. I think that's a problem with it. Is like because they try to do the same with Jason Bourne with the Treadstone show.
Yes,
and it's like it's one of those things of like you can't really. You can't go full bore with a TV show like you want to, unless you're doing an HBO or something like that.
Well, I think they did Treadstone wrong because if they actually did the Bourne series, like of the books, there's a lot to work with there. Like he takes on there's a version of Carlos the Jackal that's also an assassin like him.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that'd be interesting. Him going toe to toe and cat and mouse and you know.
Well, I know one thing I'm looking forward to is season 2 of Reacher.
Oh yeah,
I was just about to say. I was just thinking about that. Best of 2022, Reacher.
Taking a book
I haven't
and
watched
doing
it
it right.
I still need.
It's good, dude.
Reacher
It's good. Yeah, it's good, dude.
Yeah.
It's just a solid,
Chef's
just
kiss.
action show.
So like
dude.
Walker, Texas Ranger.
Pretty much, bro. Pretty
Really?
much. But it's a little more gory than that for
Oh,
sure.
really?
Yeah,
Okay.
real
Yeah,
gory.
they don't hold back, which is another thing I love.
That's crazy. I was just thinking about that as you were.
Because I was like,
Nice.
Tristan, if they did something like
Yeah.
Reacher,
I will say Amazon's good with those types of shows. Like they do like Bosch
Boys.
and The Boys.
Yeah.
And, I'm really upset the Tick didn't last longer, but they did it great with the Tick. And
has anyone watched Jack Ryan?
I
have
watched the
not,
first
dude.
season.
I
I
have
think
not.
did a second season come out? I think it did.
I think they were up to like 4.
No, I don't think it's 4. I think the third one
That sounds right. That's about 4, 3
well,
or 4.
I must
sure.
be behind, but I do like the lore of Jack Ryan, and I've only read 1 or 2 books, but I've mainly seen the movies, and it's sort of it's the same.
I feel like it's a dash. It's like Bosch. Like I don't know anyone that watches Bosch.
I don't know,
but
me
it
neither.
just is
Me
on
neither.
for like.
My
7
dad
years.
watches Bosch, and
There you go. There you go. See,
There you go.
but the thing is, I'm
dad
intrigued
show.
by it because I do like the actor.
You get to dad age. It's
Watson,
sad.
you're a dad. It's time.
I'm
It's
a
time.
dad, but I get my Bosch pants.
Turn on your
going.
Bosch.
On your lazy boy and your beer.
Yeah, be like,
Where's my
they-
Bosch?
All right, boy.
But Amazon
learn
also
some
has a
things.
bunch of sci-fi shows that are really good too. And
Oh yeah, The Expanse is amazing. Dude.
yeah,
I love The Expanse.
Well, Netflix picked it up, right? And so
I
it's
don't
not
know.
theirs anymore.
Expanse?
Yeah, The Expanse,
Really?
because they
shit.
were
know that.
canceling the show, and then on Twitter it picked up like
I
save
feel
The
like
Expanse.
that show's
and-
been canceled like 7 times.
but
Yeah,
they-
it's a
well,
great show that
It
nobody's
gets picked
watching.
up on
Well, no,
everything.
they ended the show. Netflix did like 2 more seasons, and then they ended the storyline, which was good. I highly recommend The Expanse if
Expanse is
anyone
great.
hasn't watched it.
Yeah, it's
because
great.
It's like you could see the quality of the show get better as the seasons go on. It's crazy.
And the space battles are great because
Yeah.
they're practical. They're using rocket boosted ships and like magnetic guns to fire at each other.
Well, I think
It's
that
just-
and
it's- yeah.
well, sorry to cut you off.
No.
I didn't mean, but the story and the characters are great, and I think
Yes.
that show helped. I would hope it helped Andor be that good with.
Oh, you
I could
can
see
sci-fi
that.
storytelling.
Yes, I could see that. Yeah, I can see that.
And I think to help that what helped both those shows was the remake of
Battlestar
Battlestar Galactica.
Galactica.
That was great.
Which is one of the best shows ever made.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. We got to talk about Black Adam. Why did it bomb so badly in your guys' opinion? So it made the budget between I'm looking at it right now is 190 to 260 million. It only made 390 million in the box office, which I don't know what that 190 to 260 is. I don't know if that's including marketing. I
Probably.
assume it's not.
They marketed the hell out of it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but I
they did.
assume that's not the marketing
Usually you have
cost.
to double the budget.
Right.
Yeah.
So let's just say it's
600,
400 million.
400.
It's a conservative estimate.
Right.
Yeah.
Conservative estimate 400 million.
They pushed it. They pushed it hard.
Right.
I mean, I remember seeing bus ads. I remember
Yeah.
The Rock coming on every show he could to push that thing.
Yeah. Because I feel bad for him because he's pushing really hard to say
Yeah.
it wasn't a failure.
Also, he's like just threatening the fictional characters, like, Black Adam's coming for you guys. He's coming. He's gonna be the new.
I don't think he is now.
No, and it's so interesting that Warner Brothers only released 2 movies this year because of everything was going on with them.
Yeah,
and both of them were just terrible bombs.
But well, Batman was
the Batman was.
Oh, the Batman's
which is the other? What was there too? Black Adam.
No, it was Don't Worry, Darling.
Oh, that was a Warner Brothers.
That was Warner Brothers.
Warner Brothers movies they released after they got bought.
By Discovery.
By Discovery, So they put a lot of money into those 2 because they were like, well, we got 2 movies.
Well, I mean, you had drama surrounding the one. Don't Worry, Darling.
Eternal.
And then
so it only made $86 million in the box office.
Yeah,
but Don't Worry, Darling.
And I heard
budget 35.
I heard some people who did see it, they did like it. I still have to see Don't Worry, Darling.
They were pushing for that to be their Oscar bit, though. Is what
they
were really pushing like this is our one that's gonna get us all the accolades.
Right.
Yeah. And then Black Adam's gonna be the one that's gonna make us all the money.
What got bogged down in with the controversy between Olivia Wilde and Shia LaBeouf, which she said she fired him, and then it comes out that she didn't. She fired him because he was acting inappropriately on set, which that's not difficult to believe with Shia LaBeouf because he's a little out there. But then it comes out that she didn't fire him, that he quit because it wasn't
unprofessional.
It was he just his schedule.
But then it also turned out.
So I don't know if that had affected it. I'm sure it did. I'm sure some people were like, fuck that.
Well, yeah, because also what's the lead actress's name? I'm blanking on it, but she had a problem with Olivia as well. Apparently,
she did.
How she was marketing the movie.
Florence Pugh.
Yeah, Florence Pugh. Yes. She's great as well.
She's great. Yeah.
Did you guys see Black Adam at all? Or
Black Adam?
I haven't watched it yet.
No.
That's
you
on
haven't.
Me.
I saw it in theaters.
Oh,
I saw it in theaters as well.
Somebody said it's the best movie of 2010.
Yeah, I would agree with that. It definitely, because The Rock was cast as Black Adam in 2007.
A long time ago. Yeah, he's been wanting to do it for a while.
Right.
Which is again why I feel bad for him.
I feel like the script was written in 2010. Like it does feel like because it's got the sky beam.
Yeah.
It's like every cliche that we've been able to get rid of in that amount of time.
Yeah.
We've matured, and superhero movies have matured.
Yeah.
This is like, oh no, we're still doing Skybeam. Oh, we're still doing kid's sidekick. And it's like and no offense, but to anyone who is a Black Adam fan, Black Adam is not not the most
he's not huge
character.
Yeah.
In
comics he's there, but he's not. Yeah.
And the fact that I heard, and this is all rumor and conjecture, but I heard they wanted to have The Rock show up in Shazam, the new one that's coming out.
Right. I heard that too.
And he refused. He's like, I'm not going to do a cameo in Shazam. I'm going after the big fish. And it's like, well, Black Adam is a Shazam villain.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Literally, it's like, why wouldn't you? If you're talking about being changing the hierarchy of the DC universe, which was the line he was saying for years, is like, why don't you I understand the tone of the 2 films are very different.
Yeah.
No.
And boy, it's just.
But it was on the cusp of being like Shazam for me. It was like everything was so many bright colors, and it was just very
they were
very cheesy like Shazam. But the fact that no human was referencing there is a hero named Shazam, and that's related to Black. No one referenced Shazam at all, other than these are the wizards who imprisoned Black Adam. And I was like, shouldn't there be some
you
conversation?
didn't know. That's the thing, is they don't really tell you what universe it is until the cameo at the end.
Yeah.
Which then again is I'm so sad. That was the end of Henry Cavill.
Yeah, I can't. That's what a dumb decision.
Because
what a dumb decision.
I can tell that he loved being Superman,
and he loved being The Witcher too.
Yeah. And
he's a huge nerd.
He's a big nerd.
Yeah.
And he, I saw an interview with him after they announced that he was coming back as Superman, and he was,
and they told him promote it. They told him to say,
they put the post.
Warner Brothers said, go ahead and promote it.
And then
what the fuck?
And I get management changes and ideas change, and I understand that going for. I mean, look, being James Gunn, if you get you're handed basically a broken Lego set at this point, right? Like the DCU is all over the place,
right? And
you go, well, do I try and it's a half-built Lego set, but it's built wrong. It's like, and do I continue using this the Snyderverse, if you want to call it that, and build off that, or do I just break it all apart and start fresh? And I think he does want to start fresh, and stuff like the Batman, like shows that you or Joker even though I have my issues with that movie, shows that you can do these standalones. Oh boy, we don't have to get into that.
Oh no, we got to get into that.
Worse than 2021 for me. No, but you can show like I see like the long game aspect of it, like going forward, what are you gonna do? You know, and it's like, all right, the Batman is gonna be his own universe. Joker's gonna continue in his own universe, but we have set up Aquaman 2. We've got Keaton coming back for the Flash.
Right. Yeah.
Which, God willing, that movie comes
who
out.
knows? I don't know, dude. I don't know because they shit canned a Batgirl. So
I know.
So
that's what got me.
I don't know.
And I was just
and,
like, I was
and
all
what's
on
his
board
name
for
is
that.
crazy now. So
yeah, and
he's a problem now.
He's been very quiet and under the radar for the past like 6
they probably got him
months.
locked up somewhere.
Yeah,
Well,
he's on the Warner Brothers lot right now.
He's
locked
in the
up.
tower with the
exactly.
That's
With
the only thing
the
that-
Warner
Animaniacs.
Brothers. Yeah, the Animaniacs. They're the sane part.
They're just
They're the same
stay
ones in that
cool
up in that
for
tower.
The movie comes out in like 5 months from now.
I don't know.
Just stay cool, man. Like, just keep your head down. We'll have Keaton do all the press. Like, Keaton will go out and be like,
didn't Keaton do something in Batgirl too in the movie?
he
was
gonna be
supposed.
in there too.
That was supposed
man.
to. Well,
Fuck.
you gotta remember, the Flash was supposed to come out 2020, 2021. It was supposed to be the first one to come out.
Right.
Yeah.
Which then, they planned everything all because like also there's cameos supposedly in Aquaman 2.
Right.
And that was all supposed to pivot off that. And when that got pushed a year, okay, Batgirl's coming out, but that already establishes Keaton. So how do you do that? Was like, well, now,
Yeah.
So I don't know if they were planning to do, because they said they were going to do they were going to go film some more additional filming and stuff like that.
Shots.
So maybe a reshoot stuff to kind of make it more sense. But then, I'm hearing that in Aquaman 2, like Cavill supposedly did a cameo.
Yeah.
And Affleck did a cameo, apparently. And all that's probably getting cut.
Well, I think what's going to happen with them, because if James Gunn is doing this new universe, those actors will be cut after those movies get released. Like Ezra and Momoa, they'll be gone. But maybe recast. Well, Momoa might be recast for something else. Hopefully, Lobo.
He looks excited to do Lobo.
Lobo
He would be epic as Lobo.
Yes.
Well, he's pretty much playing C Lobo now.
Yeah,
pretty much.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
But
It'd be great.
I think that's what will happen, because they still need to make money off those two movies that they've put a lot into. And after those come out, there'll be another announcement, like how they announced Henry Cavill will be exiting, but they'll be exiting through those. Because so far, James Gunn has said that Gal Gadot she's not gone either as Wonder Woman.
But they scrapped Wonder Woman 3 though.
They did scrub it, but he did say she isn't
she's
gone.
Still,
so there might be a
on the back
negotiation to.
But wasn't that more because Wonder Woman 2 wasn't that great?
Well, apparently, yeah. So Patty Jenkins wrote the script for Wonder Woman 3, brought it to Warner Brothers. They looked at it, and they were like, "This is not going to work for us." And I think she walked away. I think she's like, because they were like, "Do you mind changing it?" And she was like, "No, this is a script I want to do."
Well, apparently for 2, she
had a blank check, right? Like 2, they just like do whatever you want.
Well, no,
they first worked out so well.
They were giving, but they did give her notes too. And I remember there was some interview where she was saying, "Yeah, I had to make a few changes or something here and there, but still, nonetheless, it didn't come out too well." And
my favorite thing hearing about 3 was Steve Trevor was going to return again.
Oh yeah,
and I was like, really?
Yeah, I heard that
3
too.
times.
What,
like we're gonna go to that trope. 2 times.
Well,
I mean, I like Chris, but let's just move on from that character. It's like, come on,
no.
Give him a mustache. And,
I just felt that goes against her character anyway, because like she doesn't need a man all the time.
That
She's
was,
Wonder Woman.
Well, there was also a lot of problems with his body in 2, which was really, really weird. That's I don't know how that was able to fly.
I was like, there was something wrong with his body.
Yeah, it was
talking about body.
Yeah, it was somebody else's. Yeah.
Yes. Like I wasn't looking that closely.
But going back to Black Adam, I remember what you were saying about how it was we still had a lot of tropes from that we kind of already gotten past.
Oh boy!
And I remember watching the trailer, and he catches a rocket, and the characters are like, "Wow, he caught a rocket! Yeah, he caught a rocket! Oh my God, he caught a rocket!"
Right?
It's like, so
yeah,
which is something in the Hulk.
Yeah, exactly.
there was moments. I will say the movie has moments that are really good, and that
Really.
scene in particular when he takes out a whole army, like
Oh, yeah.
very nonchalantly.
The brutality he expels there is great.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, this is Black Adam.
But
for
that's
that.
the thing is like they're trying to have it both ways, where they want it to
Right.
be a family film, where
Yeah.
this little kid who's in the movie, which drove me crazy, is like, Black Adam, you're the coolest hero, and he's literally ripping guys' arms off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, what are you trying to say? Like, I don't know.
Well,
like-
that was one message that was stated in the movies. Like, violence does change things, and I was like,
Well,
I mean,
it kind of
Kinda
does.
is right.
It kind of does.
and
yeah.
I get it.
Sometimes,
for
yeah,
Black
unfortunately.
Adam, that's kind of his story,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
he is, in some sense, kind of like DC's Doctor Doom in a way. Like he rules with an
Yeah.
iron fist.
Yeah.
yeah,
But he loves his people. You
Yeah.
know, much
Right.
like Doom does in Latveria, and
Mhm.
like, but you don't see that in this film. You see them trying to be like, no, he's someone that you could put on lunchboxes. Yeah, we
yeah.
love Black Adam. Yeah, he's also super violent.
Well, also the kid had superhero paraphernalia,
Yes.
and I didn't get that. I was like, so there's comics of the heroes already in their world.
I
And
mean,
It seems
didn't-
like. I mean, it seems like it. Yeah.
but
there's-
yeah.
But yet again, that's kind of something Marvel does.
I was just
really
about to say
well.
exactly.
No,
It's
it's
Miss
like-
Marvel was.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
that's,
Showing
I
the-
just have I understand there's got to be some
The
comics in the
celebrity
world,
side
but
of it.
Right.
the
Yeah.
the celebrity side of like, oh, these people are real, but let's turn them into these fictional stories, or maybe they're
Right.
real.
Yeah.
They're considered real because they did happen, or I don't know, but
It's one of the reasons I love The Boys, because it's like, what would happen if we actually had
Yeah.
superheroes, which
Oh,
they
yeah.
would corporatize,
Yeah,
100% they'd be
absolutely.
corporatize, you know, and they'd probably be dickheads
yeah.
because
Like,
they're gods basically.
Yeah.
What was the old one with Ben Stiller?
Mystery?
Oh,
Man?
Mystery Man, yeah.
It
Love
would
that
be,
movie.
like
Yeah.
that as well.
Yeah, exactly. Just a bunch of clowns.
Yeah,
He's got all the sponsorship all
Yeah,
over. his
all over his-
uniform.
yeah.
He's like ripping him off when he gets. Oh, that was so good.
What
Greg
else-
Kinnear, good.
What else are you guys looking forward to 2023?
I haven't been keeping track of too much of what's coming out, but there was a post recently I saw on Twitter that was like a bunch of. Maybe I'll list them whenever we post this thing or something like that. But there's a couple like kung fu, or because I'm a big Asian action movie
Okay.
fan and stuff like that. So I like it when they do make it over here. I didn't get a chance to check out RRR, the Indonesian.
I've heard really good things about
I've
that.
read really good things. Yeah,
really good
it's
things
very
about that.
good.
so
yeah.
Yeah, it's
I
fun.
really want to. I think it's on Netflix now.
It is,
I think it's
yeah.
Indian.
So
I think
yeah.
it's Indian.
Oh,
is,
did I say Indonesian?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. My bad. My bad. Sorry. Apology.
Chad and I are minorities, by the way. So.
Yeah, I'm a mix, so I have leeway on both sides. I'm gonna say that now. I have leeway.
I'm Mexican American, so
I'm
despite my Latin.
I'm Blitalian. I like to call it
Italian.
Blitalian.
I like that.
But I got a 23andMe for Christmas, so we'll find out
Oh,
if I'm
you're gonna
anything
do it?
else.
Oh,
Oh,
you're gonna do it?
you can do
All
it.
right, let's see what
And
we
then
got.
we'll see if I'm
We'll
related
do
to
like
any
a
serial
live
killers. or-
unboxing of your DNA.
Oh yeah, I was like, oh, all right. It turns out
Oh, hey, you're half Navi.
I
James
wonder where the
Cameron
tail
tasked me in
came
your
from.
you see me right instead of my Honda, I'll be riding around on a Raptor or something.
You guys watch The Walking Dead at all?
No.
I stopped a while
Yeah.
So
ago.
yeah, so that finished this year,
Oh yes.
and
right.
so
How was the finale?
It's it was a let's say it's kind of a disappointment. The ending, it wasn't. It was kind of nice how they say goodbye to that main storyline in that show, but how they kind of wrapped it up with the main character Rick wasn't. I didn't think was great, or the other.
I
main
like
character,
the
Michonne.
musical episode, The Dancing Dead.
That was that was
really
interesting.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did see up to the point where they killed off Rick, where the explosion on the bridge.
Yeah,
and
so,
all that.
right, so-
but then he's supposed to get 2 movies, isn't he?
It's no, so they canceled that. So
Oh,
now,
they did?
So what's going to happen now is there's a Rick and Michonne spinoff. There's going to be a Daryl spinoff, and there's, yeah, and there's going to be a Rick. There's going to be a Carol and Maggie and Negan spinoff.
Stop.
So stop exactly. So okay, so I get them trying to wrap up the Rick episode, but they kind of painted themselves. So what happened is, for some people who don't know, after he blew himself up on that bridge, they
Yeah.
kind of jumped forward 6 years.
Oh.
And now they're in this community where everything's kind of like somewhat stable. The Negan's people, who were the saviors, have been defeated. And now Negan is imprisoned because of his crimes against the communities. But then he's kind of like, he's kind of resurrected within the community. He's kind of allowed to join because of he feels remorse for what he's done and all this. So it's like a forgiveness story.
He's on work release.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. And then he helps out the characters, and of course, Maggie hates him because she killed her husband.
Yeah, obviously.
And so, but then there's a kind of forgiveness story with them. There's kind of like an understanding between them because he does kind of help her out and save her a couple times in the last season. And so the problem is that they kind of wrote themselves into a corner because how can you explain away 6 years that Rick's been gone, but he's actually still alive?
Yeah.
And what I thought they were going to do is that in the very first season, they go to the CDC and they run into a doctor named Jenner, who's the last person left at the CDC. Mm-hmm. And he says, there's one line of dialogue where he says, the French were the last people who stopped working. Oh. So as soon as I heard the Daryl spinoff is going to take place in Paris, I thought what they're going to do is these people kidnapped Rick. This is how I would have written it. They kidnapped Rick, but he does something within the community. He probably kills somebody or tries to escape or something. They imprison him, which is how you need that to explain away those 6 years.
Right.
Yeah.
So he's been in a coma plus prison, whatever.
He wakes up at another hospital.
Exactly. Yeah. He's like, oh shit, again, fuck, you know.
But it says "Ole pigeon."
Yeah. So, but he kills somebody and they imprison him, and then this group gets these people together. Hey, there's this person. There's a doctor who has a vaccine in Paris. Mm-hmm. We've been in communicate, but they're in the center of Paris, which is overrun by zombies. And we're getting this crew together to go help them. Obviously, there's no plane, so they have to take a boat over there. And so I thought that's what they're going to do is have Rick go over there, and then somehow Daryl finds out, and he kind of helps him. He joins this expedition to try to go find Rick in Paris, right? Yeah. So I thought, but apparently that's not what they're doing now, because now it seems like Daryl's going to have they might still do some kind of vaccine-related something with Daryl having his own spinoff that takes place in Paris. Negan and Maggie are going to go to Manhattan and start another community, and then Rick and Michonne also have their own spinoff, I guess, that somehow takes place in the United States. I don't know how they're going to do this, but they wrote themselves in a corner with a 6 year gap.
What, the Fear of the Walking Dead?
They got the Fear of the Walking Dead, which takes place on the West Coast, which is 2 characters from The Walking Dead have gone over there.
Like Morgan's there, right?
Morgan and who's the other character? This guy who's got the burn of face. Anyhow, he's gone over there, and so that's a whole different show. But yeah, now they're doing 3 other spinoffs.
Jeez.
So I don't, how they're going to wrap this
People love
up.
these zombie shows, I guess.
I guess so. I kind of get the Rick thing because you got to wrap that up because he's such a fan favorite, and Daryl's also a fan favorite. I don't get the Maggie and the Negan spinoff in New York. I don't get that. Dwight was the other character that went to the West Coast. Dwight. So I don't. I don't know. I don't know how they're going to wrap this up.
Well, there. I do remember
New York City.
Yeah.
There was a speculation.
Walking a warehouse full of salsa. And,
yeah, exactly.
That's their new basis for the new community.
Yeah, exactly.
There was speculation on that helicopter in the one where Rick disappeared.
So that's a community that's. So then there's not Fear of the Walking Dead. It's called the New World or something.
Yeah.
That's that community.
Another special.
Yeah, that's that community.
Oh,
that has
really?
The ones that took Rick they're like dealing with that community.
I see.
Yeah, so it's I can't remember what it's called because I watched that show, but I think I only have 2 episodes left. That's like a bunch of like teens.
No, yeah.
So I'm like, they're not it's not as interesting. But I watched it because I was trying to hope that they'd say something about Rick, which they.
Do you like Fear of the Walking Dead though?
Yeah, I have watched it up to like the 3rd or 4th season, and so I'm real far behind. I liked it.
Yeah.
I didn't really. The problem with Fear of the Walking Dead was I didn't give a fuck about the characters.
Yeah.
Like that was a problem. Like I don't care what happens to them because none of them are. The only one that I liked was maybe the young girl who's now the star of the show. I forgot her name, the character's name. That's about it. That's the only one I really cared about. The other ones were a bunch of assholes.
We'll see.
Or we're just like, I just didn't care about them. I was just like, whatever. So
I do like a show though that no one's safe, because.
And that's what Walking Dead was like. Yeah.
Well,
Game of Thrones was like.
Well, no,
they're pretty safe if they've been going on for 10 seasons.
Right.
Like, you're pretty safe.
Yeah, for Walking Dead, Rick's not going anywhere for the longest time. But I used to watch a BBC show, MI5.
Oh yeah.
Where every season it was almost like a new cast, and as much as I love it when the hero, because I love 24, the show 24,
right.
Jack Bauer. I was like, no, you can't kill Jack Bauer. But in that show though, I was actually fearful in situations like, oh, this person might die because last time one of the main guys got killed. So I find it more. I like it when a show can make it that more intense for me. Be like, oh, because when
There's real stakes.
if you're like us, if you watch millions of shows, you know, like, all right, these people are safe,
Right.
and
plot
you know,
armor.
yeah, and that's why for an aspect of Alien versus Predator Requiem,
Yes.
I know it wasn't well received. I did appreciate that it was rated R, and I did appreciate that the Predator did not side with humans or aliens. Like, he threw one of these discs down the hallway, cut one of the main girls in half. I was like, oh my god! I was like,
love interest.
yeah.
I was
right?
like, well, yeah. I was like, oh shit, is this going down?
Yeah.
So that was one thing I did enjoy about that movie, and I like it when they do that in a lot of things where I can't, guess how it'll turn out. Like,
Right.
oh, these two people are gonna side because this character's not as developed. Like, it sucks that I can look at stuff now and do that.
Oh, that's yeah.
I mean, that comes with age as you've watched
Yeah.
time, but it's just like I want to be able to not guess, and I appreciate it when a show like Fear the Walking Dead, if it's a new lead, I don't know how many seasons that took for that to happen, like 3 or 4 apparently.
Who knows? Yeah,
or something,
at least 4 or 5. Yeah.
But yeah, like I do like that the change up, because
Me too.
when it's a long series like Walking Dead, it's gonna be like, oh, all right, well.
Yeah.
I know at least Rick's out of here. I know at least,
Right.
If you like MI5 and 24, I would suggest watching Treason on Netflix with Charlie Cox.
Oh,
where he is the
okay.
he is the new head of MI5.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's,
I didn't even know he was in the
it's
show.
very like designated survivor kind of show.
Yeah.
Where like the previous head of MI5 is taken out, and he is a young agent who gets placed in the as head of MI5, and now there's some twists and turns. They're really good in the show.
All right. Yeah.
No, I hadn't even heard of that show.
Yeah, it's on Netflix, and I would say check it out.
I mean,
Okay.
it's Charlie Cox is in it. So, do you guys think? What do you think is going to happen with him and Daredevil and with Disney now?
Man,
I'm nervous.
nervous
Nervous.
because
Yeah.
of Disney.
Yeah.
Well,
I think they're going to tone it down.
The news, or at least his interview, where it's like it's going to be a different Daredevil. And it's,
Yep. See?
and I know they're gonna market it a little bit more towards kids, which is okay. But if you don't keep the same tone, I don't think it'll hit as good.
Right. That's what I mean.
Here's the thing, though. I really think because, and a lot of props have to go to Andor, because Andor
Yes.
did not like.
Yes.
That's true.
It's a Star Wars
Yes.
show, but we're not gonna. There's no. I was like, where's no pew pews, no lightsabers.
Yeah.
Like they just.
It's a human drama.
It's a human drama.
Yep.
Exactly. Like you could have pulled that story and, set it anywhere.
Yeah.
It didn't have to be a Star Wars tale, but. And I feel like Disney started to take notice.
I hope so.
Because
Hopefully,
that show
yeah.
got so much love and traction
Yes.
online
Yeah.
that I feel like they're like, okay, we don't have to dilute the brand.
Right.
We
Yeah.
don't have to
Right.
make it for everyone.
I'm shocked that Andor is the way it is.
Yeah.
Like they basically let what's the showrunner's name? He's the director of Rogue One. They basically just let him.
Gareth Edwards?
Expand the story. Yeah.
Yeah, they basically let him do what he wanted to do. Like it's going to be a Tony Gilroy.
Tony Gilroy.
It's going to be it's going to be a human drama. It's going to be an adult, mature show, and that's how I'm going to do it. And it's because it's one thing I love about Andor is that every single character in there, especially the people who are on the side of the rebels, the anxiety is on their face.
Yeah.
Like every single moment, it's like, oh shit, is my door going to get kicked in right now and Stormtrooper's going to walk in here and execute me? Like you can feel the tension in every single moment of that show. And even the Imperials, like you can see how stressed out they are by trying to capture the rebels, and they can feel something is on the cusp of of turning. You know? They can feel it.
Well,
the Imperials can feel it. The rebels can feel it.
Yeah.
Or the people leading up to the rebellion.
But just talking about Daredevil, I think they did by putting all the Netflix shows on Disney Plus. You can watch them all now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like if they wanted to start from, if they wanted to scrub it clean, they wouldn't have done that, right?
That's true.
They would have just it's Daredevil, they're the same actors, but we're not going to reference any of that. Like they literally was like, they must have paid Netflix money to we're lifting this content.
Yeah.
Because it is a Netflix produced show,
Right.
True.
To put him onto Disney Plus, they wouldn't have done that without a plan in place. I think to keep that kind of keep it kind of in that same universe and kind of way.
Is Deadpool on Disney Plus? I forget.
It's on Hulu.
It's
I
on
think
Hulu.
if you're in other countries, because we have Hulu here in the States, but if you're in like Australia or something, they have like Disney Star, which is like it's the adult version of Disney
Okay.
Plus. So it's like it's on Disney Plus, but there's like another layer basically.
Yeah,
So that has all like the Hulu stuff that we see out here.
Right.
Over there, like it's all on the Star.
so they don't technically have anything rated R on Disney Plus, but there's TVMA.
Yes.
At least is the highest
Yeah,
of
and you have to
maturity. You know,
Do
yeah.
the password to get in.
Yeah. Well, and I'm glad they're doing that now because like Netflix for the longest time had the child option for the profile
Yeah.
or the adult
Yes.
one.
Right.
And so, like, for them to take that long, like, after they bought Fox's properties, like, for them to take that long to, we have adult things that we purchased that could be making us money. We should, make that switch for kids and adults. So Disney Plus will be something that adults will want to.
I'm surprised they didn't fold Hulu in
Yeah.
to Disney Plus.
Right,
But for
right.
them, I'm sure it's just like it's
just
easy
more
money.
money,
Yeah,
yeah.
they're like, look, you're already paying for
Yeah.
it.
Right,
like,
right,
we own
exactly.
it now. So instead of folding all the things onto one server,
Yeah.
Yeah. It's probably more of a money decision than anything else.
True.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I'm very worried because is the Alien show going to be on Hulu or is it going to be on Disney Plus?
Alien show.
I hear they're doing Disney Plus was, or at least Disney was working on like Alien. They're gonna do a show. I don't know
the
what
Xenomorph aliens?
Yeah,
Oh shit.
because they own the property. They're
Yeah,
gonna
they do.
Oh, I didn't know about
so
that. I mean, I know they're on the property.
I'd
I didn't hear
expect
about
that to
that.
be on Hulu, much like
Yeah.
how
Yeah.
Prey was
because
on
Prey
Hulu.
was on
Right,
Hulu, yeah.
right.
I feel
Yeah.
like that's kind of where
Yeah.
they're
Yeah.
putting all that stuff now.
Yeah, makes sense. So, but I'm just worried. I was like, I really want them to do good with it, and maybe even just go back to its roots as the first movie, make it more horror, sci-fi horror, like very. I just want to. I don't know. Like I do love. I'm one of the few people who did like Prometheus and Alien Covenant. There was loopholes and
I
there's
knew there's a reason I hate
there's-
you.
there's.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, I didn't love it.
Fuck off this podcast.
I didn't love it, but I do like the lore that was being built, and I know it takes away from certain
Yeah.
other things and all that, but
It's
I-
one of
It
those
was a
things
good
where
idea, not well executed.
I don't
That's
think you
the
need to
problem,
explain.
Yeah.
It's like
No,
I
you
always
don't.
hate
Yeah.
when you see a slasher flick or something. They're like, well, we're gonna do a whole movie.
How did-
explaining the
Yeah.
backstory.
How he got his mask.
Yeah, it's like
well, I mean, but
okay,
people
yeah.
did Pearl, and that's a prequel to X, and like people love Pearl,
Yeah, yeah, I can
and
see
so
it.
you
yeah.
see how she became the
Right.
psychotic killer.
I think, but that was his whole plan from the beginning. It wasn't
I
like
guess,
I'm going to
yeah,
add
that's
this
right.
on.
That's true, that's
because
true,
they filmed
yeah.
all three movies.
that was
back to
quick.
back, I
Yeah,
think,
that was a quick turnaround.
Yeah.
for
Yeah,
that
it was
one.
like within a year, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess if it's planned ahead like that, but since these
Trilogy.
movies were so far away from
So
the
far away.
And you're dealing with more than one author. Like you're dealing with, it was like Ridley Scott and then James Cameron, and then
True.
and it was just like, and more. Everyone added their little bit. It was like
Yeah, their
like I
own
said, like the
personal-
Lego set,
Right,
like you
But
just
since
add
this is the
your own
original
thing.
guy, I
Yeah,
feel
but everyone got mad because it wasn't what coincided with yet again everything that's
Yeah.
in the comic books, everything that's there's
Right.
No,
so
that's
much
true.
Right.
stuff.
that's what I wonder. Like, if you're a creator, would you? And it's something your original idea. Would you ever give it away like that? Because then you're gonna have all these things made
Yeah.
in.
Well, and that's why
That's the
like
question.
Lucas held
I was
so
just thinking
tightly
the
to
same
that
thing,
stuff for so
exactly, yeah.
long because he didn't
Yeah.
want there to be.
And Cameron, same deal with
Yeah.
his Terminator franchise. Like how it's gotten so bad.
Right.
Oh boy!
Like I if I were him, I would have kept that.
Right.
I know he made most of his money with Titanic because
yeah, he
he
kept
kept the
up-
rights for that.
Yeah.
But like for something like that,
Well, Terminator, he never really didn't he like famously he sold the rights to it for like $100
Yeah.
so he could direct the first one.
yeah.
He was like, look,
And I get that.
and it got his foot in the door, and
Yeah.
like it's a great movie that obviously paved the way for a lot of other
Right.
good films.
Definitely.
And yeah, so it's like, and of course it's like those movies are going to keep making them until they stop making money.
Yeah.
which they feel
Which
like
probably
they
is,
did.
yeah.
Even though I like Dark Fate, I will say it.
Yeah. I mean, speaking of, like, so franchises like Fast and the Furious, I mean, that's owned by Vin Diesel,
That's true.
So
Yeah.
it's like, I
Really?
don't think, I don't
Wow.
think I think he owns the entire franchise. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like, he's not going to give that away
No.
because he's got that creative.
He's sitting on a
Right.
big old pit of money. In there.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, would you ever give away something that you created? I mean, I guess it depends, if you're, I mean, yeah.
Yeah, I watched an interview recently with Stallone, talked about Rocky, and he doesn't own the rights.
No,
to
he
Rocky.
doesn't.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's sad.
I
That's sad. I
thought
was
this
like-
entire time he did. Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
No, yeah.
But yet again, it was one of those
Yeah.
things where he sold it real cheap at the beginning of
Right.
his career so that he could show that he could do what he can do. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
he even has tried to go and get the rights and
Right.
buy the rights out, and they've said, people who own it, no, are you
Yeah.
kidding me? Like, we're still making money off
Of course,
this.
yeah. After all these
And
years, yeah.
he even said, like, it's something I want to be able to give my kids. You know,
Yeah.
and I'm
Yeah.
gone. Like, this is my legacy.
I think I saw that same interview that you're
Yeah,
talking about.
I
And
saw that as well.
It's a little sad, but then,
Yeah.
you know, it's like,
well,
but-
Yeah, in this entire time, I
would
thought he owned
have
it.
the
Yeah.
career that he had
Yeah.
if he didn't take that gamble?
Right, exactly. Yeah.
So you never know what's going to hit, what's going to miss. You know, he might
Right.
be like, I still got the rights to stop or my mom will shoot, guys. You know, let's do it. You know,
Well, I want
Don't say
another-
that too loud, bro, because
Demolition Man, man.
we'll,
I
we'll
got
have
the rights.
a
want
we'll have a whole
another-
mini series on Hulu Plus on
yes.
Hulu about.
I would love to see another Tango and Cash. Like, bring that back. Where's
I
that
love Tango.
sequel?
Tango Tango, such a
Cash
great
was
movie,
like
dude.
one of my
Such a great
favorite
movie.
Him and
movies
Kurt
growing
Russell are still going. You know?
Such a great movie, dude.
I think that would be I think to see that in 2024. Oh
Why,
man,
you know, why wasn't Kurt Russell in the Expendables?
I don't
Good
know.
question.
Maybe
I love me some Kurt Russell. I feel
Good
like he has
question.
No,
been. He still continues to make movies. He's
Ah,
still
yeah.
great.
Yeah, he's still good. Yeah.
But
anything
like
he's
this-
in, he
He's
delivers.
just always under the radar, right? It's
Yes.
just like, you know, I think his top of the heat for him was probably like Tombstone era kind of thing.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
You know, Backdraft, Tombstone, like just
Yeah.
some bangers.
Soldier.
Soldier
yeah,
might be one.
Soldier, yeah.
No, that's
that was
kinda
a little
where
bit
it
of a
kinda
dip.
Yeah,
But
That's in the same universe as Blade Runner. I found
it
out.
is.
it is. Yeah, it is. Yep.
They it's great. But yeah, I'm just surprised that he never showed up in one of those like old man revenge movies.
You know,
Well, it seems like he does a lot of small independent stuff too. Like he
Um,
gravitates more because he did Bone Tomahawk, which is like a
True.
$5 million
So
movie.
good.
But it's a fucking great movie.
yeah,
man.
and even like
such a great movie.
you know what he did with Tarantino, the Hateful
Right.
Eight.
Hateful
He's
Eight,
so great
yeah.
in that.
yeah.
and the Christmas Chronicles, those were a hit. With
Oh
him as
yes,
Santa
that's
Claus.
right. Yeah.
And then
You know, and they cast his wife as Mrs. Claus too. which is
Right.
great.
yeah, which is great. And he
Um,
showed up as Ego in Guardian, so he's
Yeah.
you know he's still making them.
I
But-
think, I mean, they are making an Expendables 4. I hope.
Oh, God.
Well, now,
Yes.
I will say the third one wasn't good. I will say that.
Yeah.
But the second one, that was awesome. I love that movie. Him versus Van Damme was it's all the campiness, and it just worked
Yes, of
because it was
course.
so 80s. And I think they missed who they were marketing it for in the third one. Like, it was like, we don't need younger characters.
Oh, that's right. They
We're here
brought
for
in
you.
like the
Yeah.
next gen.
Yeah.
Right,
The
right,
first
right.
one, they were working out the kinks of like what's what,
Oh, yeah.
and it was
Yeah.
okay. But the second one knocked it out of the park, and the fact
So
that they
much
like
fun.
put the older guys to the back burner, I was like, "What are you doing? This is not what that should be."
Well, the second one famously they had like Chuck Norris show up, right?
Yeah, he shows up and
Yes.
he's like a lone wolf guy, and he
It's
like
so good.
it was just so good, so great. And,
There was a lot of winks to the camera, but it was done in a really good way.
yeah,
Yeah.
and
And Van Damme was great in that too.
Van
Yeah.
Damme was awesome in it. Yeah.
he really enveloped himself into that villain, and I thought it was so silly, but it was so funny because he was just like, "This is a nice knife," and he was like, "Oh, it's so great." But like that's why I really want
His famous tagline.
Yes.
This is a nice
nice
knife.
nice knife. It was a good kick, but and his name was Villan. Like it was just like, come on.
Yeah, that's right. I
It was-
forgot about
yeah.
that.
Um,
Come on.
but I really want this fourth one to bring it back into the foray of that same spirit, and I hope Stallone has maybe helps write it or something. Because I don't know who really did the third one, or he didn't direct or write it, I don't think. And I think that's where it kind of failed. So
Just picking up kind of off that, I'm really looking forward to his Creed 3.
yeah.
that looks
like,
interesting. Yeah.
I don't
That
know
looks
if-
interesting.
But the fact
I
that
don't know if
Stallone's not in it,
he's
I'm
not
like,
in it at all,
Yeah,
right? Because
at
he's
all.
not in any of the trailers. And I
Right.
was just
well, I
like-
think that's also because of the whole proper. Like he was like, I didn't agree to. I remember there was something before that interview, like months before when they were announcing Creed 3 was going to be made. He was like, I'm not cool with them just keep making movie, or maybe he didn't okay on it. I don't know what it was exactly.
But yet again, he doesn't have the
was in-
rights to it.
No,
so.
yeah. But he was like in a bad mood about it, so maybe that's why he was like, no, I'm not going to be in the next
Oh,
one.
that's a shame.
Which is sucks
That
because
sucks,
you need the character to have his Mickey character,
Right. Exactly.
And if
Well,
he does,
I mean, do you kill off Rocky?
but the thing is,
Ah.
you can't have it not happen on screen, because that was one of the best moments in Rocky 3 where Mickey passed
Right.
away and
Yeah.
he's like, oh, Mickey, and he's just blubbering on. I was like, I felt that. I was like, oh man, this-
Yeah. I just
felt
felt
it
it right
right
now
now.
too. Yeah.
yeah.
That sounded just like him. Sounded just like him.
You know, it's just like he's just strong, prideful character, and he's brought down, right there. I was like, oh man. So the fact that they won't have that for Michael B. Jordan, I'm like, well, okay, I guess
It's rough. Yeah, it's rough.
But they killed Adrian off screen, and that seemed to motivate
That
Rocky.
was,
and
I mean, I don't think that was a motivation in Rocky Balboa. His motivation was he's got his restaurant and he's trying to get in good graces with his kid again.
That's right.
And he's like, he feels that there's something missing, and like he's got one more fight in him. And that's why I still think Rocky. Yeah, he's like.
I think it's a great movie.
Yeah, I enjoy the movie. I just wish the boxer who went up again was more. I know he was a real boxer.
Right. Yeah.
Like I don't.
Well, that's what I'm looking forward to. Well, I mean, Jonathan Majors is.
Oh yeah, he's jacked.
And that I think he's.
Is he actually the butt?
What's that?
Oh no, go on. Sorry, I'm cutting.
No, I think he's a powerhouse of an actor.
Oh yeah,
for sure.
I think he's gonna deliver
sure.
very well. But like, I just hate it when they cast actual athletes. I'm like, it's okay, but
it's not because you want the authenticity though. You want like Stallone to go up against because like Dolph Lundgren was a good actor.
He was actually a fighter too.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. He's a fighter.
Jiu-jitsu, black belt.
Taekwondo, I think. Yeah.
Oh yeah. But I think though, because he didn't speak very much English, and he just had to be a stone-faced guy. Right. And I think in Creed 2, his acting chops was better because he was obviously.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, because it was against this.
Yeah, and his story was a little more tragic in that as well. And I was like,
I love that.
Yeah.
So showing the aftermath of what happened.
But I think the guy who played his son wasn't an actor, right? It was an actual boxer.
I think so.
Yeah. That's when I'm like, it's all right because Michael B. Jordan's not a real boxer, so the villain doesn't have to be one.
Right.
So
exactly.
I'm just like, give me someone I memorize every Rocky Balboa villain. Tommy Gunn,
Clubber Lang,
Dolph Lundgren. I mean, Drago. Sorry,
Drago. Yeah,
Ivan Drago.
And then Apollo. You got Apollo. Like
right.
There's and they just deliver on that. So I think Jonathan Majors will deliver what we've not got in Creed 1 and 2.
Well, and it looks like they're really tying those characters together with like they have a tragic backstory together. Yeah. So we're going to get a lot more scenes of them talking and before the fight.
Yeah.
So I think that you need an actor for that.
But, do you think they're going to do the Clubber Lang route where he beats him first? The Majors will beat him first, and then he'll have to win back the title.
I think so.
Possibly,
possibly,
yeah.
Because you see that, at least in the trailer, we see that he's at the height of his fame and popularity, and like, I think there is something about the Rocky franchise that you have to take him down a peg. Same with Apollo,
no,
right?
that's
like,
you got to do that.
You got to show that you're not hungry for it, Rocky.
You're not hungry. Oh man,
he'll kill you. He'll murder you.
Like I'm not a big fan of Rocky 5, but that scene with Ghost Mickey.
Yes, I was just thinking about that, man.
That hits so hard.
Because Mickey loves you.
Yeah, Mickey loves you.
Oh God, one more round.
Touch me and I'll sue.
And he stands up.
Bring that guy back.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
Touch me and I'll sue.
The Don King. He punches him out at the end. Have you ever heard people talk about Don King?
No,
how so I mean Mike
Tyson. I've heard a little bit.
Yeah, Mike Tyson did that. He did that documentary where it's just him talking to the camera, and he talks about Don King and how much of a piece of shit he is. Yeah, it's just he's like this reptilian. I met this reptilian motherfucker, and yeah.
Have you seen pictures of Jamie Foxx training for? He's doing a Tyson biopic.
Oh,
really?
I did. I didn't know that was still going.
Jamie Foxx.
Yeah,
Jamie
nice.
Foxx.
I mean, he's 52.
Oh yeah.
Well, they did that.
He's like got a rig. He's like ridiculous.
Well, I heard about that, but then when that other Tyson thing came out for Hulu or it was straight to streaming
thing
with the guy from Moonlight.
Yeah.
And I thought that was it, and I was like, oh, I guess they're not doing the Jamie Foxx thing anymore, but I guess they are.
No one told him, but apparently he's still training for it.
Oh shit!
Wow, holy shit!
That should be crazy.
Yeah,
because if he goes at it like he did Ray, I'd be like, wow. Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's been it for Enter the Nerdom. This has been
Stan Mortini,
Watson Bradshaw,
and I'm Chad Cook, and be sure to check out further episodes down the line.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.